Gunter, publisher of the community paper, is joining me today to speak about how this paper keeps downtown Orlando residents informed and active in their community. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the paper.
Hi, first, thanks for having me. My name is Debbie Gunter. I am an Orlando native, grew up here, I've lived here my whole life. And when I grew up in Windermere, and then when I got married, I moved to College Park in 1988, and that's where I raised my kids. And so that's how I really started getting connected to the College Park and the downtown community.
What inspired you to create the community paper?
So I actually didn't create the paper. The paper was founded by a woman, Susan Tator, in 1989, sharing only good news. That was her motto. She didn't share anything negative. So a lot of school news, community events, that type of thing. And then in 2010, she approached me because she wanted to sell the paper, and she thought I would be the perfect person to buy it, which was funny because I have no journalism experience. I don't have a journalism degree, but she assured me that I could learn anything. She knew I was involved in the community. So I took about a month to do some research with some friends in the industry, and I thought, sure, what the heck, let's give it a try. And so I just kind of jumped off.
Since you took over the paper, how has it transformed?
Well, when Susan started it back in 1989, it was just her. She was doing all the layout. She was gathering the information from the community organizations and the schools. And so when I bought it, I knew I couldn't do it by myself. I was a full-time realtor at the time as well. So I decided I will do this if I can see if I can get some help from other people. So my daughter was actually in college at the time in studying graphic design. So I would gather the content. She would do the layout. I didn't have an editor when I first started, so I would send stories to a friend of mine who's a professor at Rollins and say, hey, how does this sound? Make me sound smart. A lot of mistakes were made along the way, but eventually we were able to bring on an editor, more layout people, writers, and so over time, we have developed this great team of people that all have a small role, and it all kind of comes together nicely.
What type of news does the paper typically cover?
I really believe in honoring Susan's original mission of good news only is, what you're going to find in the paper. So we stay away from anything negative. We don't do restaurant reviews or any like strong opinion type pieces. So we share really a lot of community events like Main Street news, the school news, the Rotary Club, things that are impacting Orlando residents downtown. We just really want to kind of bring everyone together, get to know your neighbors, get to know your business owners through the paper. Orlando is such a big city now, but when you live there, you live downtown, you live in College Park, you start to realize it really is like a small town. You get to know your neighbors and, walking into the grocery store and the cashier knows your name, that sort of thing. So that's kind of our goal, is to bring the residents and the business owners together so they have that sense of community.
You recently started the community paper podcast. What new flavor does the podcast bring to the paper?
So that's been super fun. So just to back up, we primarily covered College Park when I first bought the paper. And then in 2017, we started kind of venturing out into more downtown. And now we cover everything from College Park to South Downtown. And we started realizing that our followers on social, a lot of our readers were a little bit younger maybe than some of the original readers. And so we found after doing a survey that over half of them listened to podcasts. And so we all listen to podcasts on our team. We all have our favorites and talk about them all the time. And so we thought, hey, let's do our own, So we started doing it, and it's just a fun way to get to know our team members and to dig a little deeper into the stories that we're covering. It's a lot of fun.
Why do you feel it's important for there to be local papers?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm sure you and everyone would agree that without local news, local journalism, you just don't feel connected to your community. All of our local papers do such a great job at sharing the hard news, the local TV stations, the Sentinel. But we really wanted to bring the positive news to our readers because there's just so much negativity out there. And so we know that. And so we know our readers enjoy reading the good news, and they enjoy getting to know their neighbors and to feel like they're a part of the community. And we also share a lot of what's going on in local government too. And a lot of times nowadays, the local, more of the hard news publications, they don't always have time to cover every single little thing that's going on.
How can the community support our local papers and yours in particular?
I think the main thing is just sharing your news with us. Most of our news stories, especially our features, are brought to us by our readers. They will email, hey, my neighbor does this, or did you hear about that restaurant doing this for charity, or, that type of thing. So we really look for our readers and community members to share their news with us. And it really does make an impact. We had someone reach out to us about a program called Neighbors Network. And it's an organization that helps the elderly who are living at home still, but they really need help, but they're not ready to go into an assisted living. And an elderly woman called me a couple of weeks ago, and she said, I remember reading the story in the paper, but I can't find the information. Can you help me? There's a lot of good that's going on through the paper. And I think that type of connection is important for all of us living in a big city.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers?
We have such a great team. It started with just my daughter and I putting together the paper. We have grown this team of residents who anybody watching probably knows there's not money to be made in print media right now. So they're all doing it really for the love of their community and not doing it to get rich or anything. So it's just a passion for everyone on our team. And so I'm just grateful for them. I'm grateful for the community members who send us their news, all the schools who send us their news and information. And we're honored to be able to share all the good news happening in Orlando.
How can those who are interested learn more or get connected with your paper?
Well, first of all, we have a weekly newsletter. So you can go to our website. It's yourcommunitypaper.com. And on there, you can find us everywhere. You can connect to our social links there. You can sign up for our newsletter. You can subscribe to the print edition. We do mail the paper to about 13,000 homes every month, but we can't cover every single street. So if you'd like to get the print edition in your mailbox, you can subscribe to that. You can also pick the paper up at a bunch of local restaurants. And just check us out and be sure to reach out and share your good news, because we're happy to share it with our audience.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
You are so welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. If you're enjoying this show, please subscribe to our channel and follow our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter accounts.